What's up? Welcome to the Unstuck Podcast. I'm your host, Drew Koss, and you are in the right spot. This is where we discuss real life, real problems with real people. You're going to get unstuck. Now, while you're at it, make sure you subscribe and share this with a loved one. Let's get ready to get unstuck. What up, though? What's up, guys? If I can talk, I'm going to just start this off right. Today, we're going to come up with a strategy for you, right? You're going to have a strategy if you feel you need to become disciplined in some area of your life that you can stick to. I'm known for some weird reason for my discipline, which if you asked me, I think there's a lot of areas that I'm not disciplined, but that's neither here or there. Welcome to the Unstuck Podcast. I'm your host, Drew, and today we're going to talk about what am I doing to stay disciplined or become disciplined? So let's just look at it from a couple different angles. I look at discipline as cultivating a new habit. And even when I say that, it's a thought in my head that usually comes across kind of like you ever see those like those planes that are driving by and it has like a quotes underneath or something like that. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Like it will be saying something to somebody. I usually have a thought that comes in my head like, well, but you're not disciplined in these areas, so how can you teach about that? So what do? I teach about it. I look at it as cultivating a new habit, but I'm going to break down what I do and then potentially you can use some of it, all of it, or you can just listen and then add your 2 cents to it later. Before we jump in heavy, I want you to do me a favor. Go subscribe so that we can keep helping more people and reach more people. So the first thing I think about when it comes to discipline is I'm going to think of habit stacking. Habit stacking. I'll give you the formula now and then we'll break it down. Habit stacking. I'm going to think of the benefit and I'm going to think of the barrier. If the habit stacking and the benefit is not bigger than the barrier, then I'm probably not going to become disciplined in that area right now until the habit stacking and until the benefit becomes bigger. So one of my friends was telling me they wanted to have discipline. They mentioned to me that I was disciplined in studying the Word of God, praying, posting content, working out, things like that. Those are areas that I am disciplined in, and I want to tell you how I got there and what I still feel to this day. So let's just take studying the Word of God. So I've studied for a good amount of years, and my study habit actually came out of anger. I kept feeling defeated. I kept feeling that I wasn't making progress. So I said, you know what? Every day I don't feel I'm making progress, I'm going to just study. And after a while, I was like, I'm going to study because I think this is the right thing to do. And then after a while, it became, I'm going to study because this helps me mentally and spiritually. So my reason changed across the years, along the years. What I did was when I first started doing it was I would set a 30-minute timer. At first I would set an hour timer. And at first my goal was every day you're going to study at least 4 days a week. And every time I studied, I would mark it off on the calendar because I wanted to see the actual wins. And after about 2 weeks, I was like, you know what? Let's study every day so we can keep seeing more checks on this calendar. So at that time, the habit that I was stacking on actually was nothing because I didn't have a habit that I deemed to be good at that time. What I started doing after was if I saw that check that I was marking off on the calendar, it just gave me some fuel to say, hey, you can do it another day. And then after a while, I started thinking like, hey, 30 minutes to 60 minutes out of your day is not going to kill you. So let's do it. But here's the downside of all of that. It became so it became like a ritual where like no matter where I was at, I was gonna get in my studying. The part that turned for me that made it better was realizing this is something that I want to keep doing for the rest of my life. So maybe this hour that I'm always going for, if I'm not actually like tuned in fully mentally, let's shorten it. Let's go to 30 minutes or 20 minutes, but let's do it daily, and let's realize the benefit of this is I become a better person. I gain more knowledge, I gain more wisdom, and spiritually I become stronger. So that was the benefit. Now, the barrier was I usually like to read when it's quiet. And I knew for a fact if I was trying to do this and I had to be in other places, I had to somehow find places that were quiet. And I probably had to wake up early to do that. Now, that came out of, actually, now that I think about it, I'm sorry, now that I think about it, the habit that I was stacking on was waking up early. I've always liked to wake up early because I like quietness. Like right now, it's 4:42 a.m. That's why I'm usually sounding a little monotone. I would wake up early because I like being up early because I like being around quietness. I like being up before everybody so that I can just center myself. So that explains it. The habit that I was stacking on was being up early. So after a while, it just became my habit. Even on days where I didn't feel like studying, it's like my body would just draw me to the Bible and to start studying it. After about 90 days, it was more so like this is what I do. I am a learner of the Word of God. I'm not trying to study. I'm a learner of the Word of God. So that's tip number one. Think about what habit you do already that you can stack this new habit that you want to become disciplined in. Working out is usually one of the habits that people want to build, and I think people go about it totally wrong. They'd be like, today is the day where I'm going to just get out there and I'm going 50 days straight. And in my head, I'm like, that sounds heroic, but it's also not realistic. Let's try to go for 2 days. Let's just try little and then build upon it. With that, building this habit, think, what is a habit that you already do that you can start attaching this to? And that may take a little bit of creativity. When I wanted to get better at studying, what I did was I knew every day I would go downstairs to a certain spot, so I would have the Bible already open the night before, so that when I got to that spot, I just knew go ahead and get into it. So habit stacking looks like this. I want to stack this new habit that I'm trying to become better at, or this new discipline. I want to stack it on something that I already do, or I want to stack it on something that I already like to do. Usually tell people who want to do like a treadmill work or something like that. If you like to read, great habits to stack together. If you like cooking and you know you have to finish an audiobook, good habit to stack together. It's all going to vary per person, so there's no perfect solution to that one. While you're still here, go ahead and subscribe so that we can keep helping more people and that we can get our reach out to the world. Habit stacking. So the second thing is I want to list all of the benefits that I'm going to get if I become disciplined with this thing. If I become disciplined in this area, what are all the benefits that come with it? If I can reverse engineer that, then I know, oh, I'm going to be sticking to this. That's how I actually got like really consistent with podcasting, where I realized I'm going to probably become a better speaker. I'm going to probably become a better communicator. I'm going to become just consistent in showing up for something. And the benefits was those three. The other benefit was I'm going to be able to grow my reach. And another benefit is I'm going to become better at teaching podcasts because if I'm doing it so much, I'm going to see all of the little intricacies, things that people don't talk about, things that people miss. I get that information up front so that when I teach, I'm teaching with confidence. I'm teaching from something that I've actually experienced. So then now the discipline part was this is the habit stacking for this part. I read in the morning. So after I read, my mic is usually set so that I can just put the Bible down, I can pray, and then I can go onto the mic. The habit stacking is definitely one of the biggest bangs, but now the benefit, let's talk about that. If you don't have a benefit to the discipline that you want to build, it's not going to work. There has to be something in it for you that you want or that you get, or it's going to be too hard. Willpower is cool, but it usually burns out faster than habits. We all know, we've all probably done it where you're going to start a diet on Monday and the diet ends by Friday, right? What you got to think about, what's the benefits that I get that I actually want? If there's no benefits that you want, you're probably not gonna stick with it. Now, I have nothing against anybody who's a plumber. Nothing. I think that's an excellent career because it's always gonna be a need, but I don't have a desire to fix stuff. I hate fixing things. You can get at me, but I hate fixing things. So for me, the benefit would only be like making money, but then I know for a fact when it gets hard, I would quit. I don't know why. It's just not something that I love. Now, there are plumbers who love that type of stuff. Now, something like podcasting and coaching content or coaching coaches, like life coaching, I love that. I see so many benefits with that. So the benefit has to make sense to you. I'm going to say, write down all the benefits of this thing that you get to have. And be for real. Like, one of the reasons why I work out, honestly, is so I don't look sloppy. That's one of my biggest reasons. I honestly, yes, I'm working out for health and stuff like that, but really, I'm working out so I don't look bad. And that's a benefit for me. It's a benefit for my wife. It's a benefit for me mentally to know that I can keep showing up. I can be consistent at something when life throws curveballs. So those are my benefits. Write down all of the benefits that this thing is going to give you. And then it's going to be a lot easier when you get to the barriers part. So one of my benefits for uh, one of the things I'm known for being disciplined is studying. My benefits is I become wiser. I get to eat. I consider that eating. I get to have a dialogue with the word. I get to be nurtured mentally. One of my benefits for working out is mentally I have a place that I can keep going to when I want to just be. I don't have to do a lot of thinking. I can just be. I can laugh. I can get stronger. I can have fun with it. That's one of my benefits for working out. Something that I'm known for also is content and posting content. One of the benefits for that is I become a better teacher because I'm doing it so much. I'm seeing what really works, what's sustainable. One of the other benefits is when people go and look me up, they can go down the rabbit hole for days. They can see he has a daughter, he has a wife, he likes fitness, he likes these things. So think about the benefits and how they're going to serve you. And it makes the goal easier when you get to the last part, which is the barriers. Every goal will have barriers. Just get that through your head. Now, every goal will have barriers. We have a group called Make Content Great Again. And then this group, we keep it small on purpose. In this group, it's people who are building some form of business, and they're coming to get content challenges, support, information, and things like that. And in that group, one of the barriers is you probably don't get a lot out of it if you don't put anything in it. That could be a barrier. With barriers, you have to understand that barriers can be moved. And it's normal for barriers to show up when you go towards something. Myron Golden says this quote, and I love it. He says, whenever there is intention, there's also disruption. Something always comes up to try to deter you. That's perfectly fine. It's normal. It's not normal for you to feel that you're going to have a goal and then you're going to just get there without any fight. Usually that doesn't happen. With my study routine, some of the fights is I don't want to get up all the time in the morning. Or I don't want to sometimes study. I want to just sit here and play on Canva or just do something. But as soon as I try to do those other things, my discipline muscle kicks back in to let me know, spend that time doing that because there's a lot of benefits that you're going to get from that. So barriers are going to come. It's it's transforming our mind. Let me see how I can word it. It's transforming our mind to look at the barrier as something to step on and use it. So I knew one of my barriers when I had the study routine was if I do it later in the day, I could have cool benefits because it's like I'm probably awake more, but I also know the day could get away from me. I know the barrier is if I need to be quiet to do it because I like quietness personally, I'm not, there's not quietness around me when I'm in the day. So I was like, let me just not have that barrier. Let me just go around this barrier and do it in the morning when I wake up. And that works for me. It may not work for you in that way. Look at the barrier and think, how can I get around it? How can I get over it? Or I may have to go through it. With fitness, that's one that I had to go through it. Hey, this may hurt a little bit. I'm going to have to keep showing up. I'm going to show up when I don't see any result happening. And I'm showing up because I told myself that this is something that's going to benefit me in a lot of areas. Sometimes, come close, the biggest barrier is you against you. That's usually a barrier. You fighting yourself. You fighting what you know you could accomplish. And I'm not saying that that's easy because I have areas in my life where I would love to be more disciplined and I'm working at it. Barriers will come. Now, to wrap up, three things I would say to do outside of what I just told you. Get a calendar or something that you can visibly see and check off when you're doing this new habit and discipline that you're trying to form. I'm going to say check it off because sometimes you don't realize just seeing that visual, some people are against it, but just seeing the visual goal, I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this, helps you. Like to see like my podcasting right now, to see like we're past episode 300. To see that day one still, I remember what it meant to do day one until now, and it gives me great joy. But it also lets me know that you can keep doing things, Drew, because you have it in you. Secondly, think about who can be an accountability partner with you on this. If you're thinking about fitness, we have an online fitness group, Conquer Fitness. Definitely join us where you not only get workouts online for you to do, but you have the accountability of the group. If you're not checking in, you're not coming in, people are going to start wondering, where are you at? What are you doing? The accountability part helps so much because you don't realize how much having someone support you and hold you to a standard will help you overcome so many barriers, so many. Have an accountability partner. And third, and this is something that I struggle with, so I'm preaching to the choir, give yourself some grace. Whew. This is one that I'm still learning to this day. Give yourself some grace as you're disciplining yourself in new areas and going for things. Give yourself grace because you're trying. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, you gotta be David Goggins style. I would love to. I would love you to. But you're a real person still, and you're trying. If you know you're trying with all you have, then give yourself a grace along the way. Now, if you're just out here and you're not even trying, you're just saying you're doing it, then that's on you. I want to know, what is something that you want to be disciplined in? Let me know in the comments. Leave me a comment or even DM me. I'm on Instagram and everything else at Coach Drew Cost. you can just shoot me a DM. I would love to know, because this is an area that I actually love helping people in. And it's an area that I know gives people a great amount of benefit once they've actually crossed over from desire to discipline. That sounds like a workshop or something. Should we make that a workshop? Should we make that a workshop? We might make that a workshop. Desire to discipline. Other than that, guys, you know what I'm gonna say. I'm out of here. I cannot say thank you enough for listening to this episode. Do me a favor, subscribe and share it with a friend.
Okay.
Help us help more people as we share a message of getting unstuck with real life problems with real people solving them. Be great.